YouTube. I'm very excited today to do a little comparison of the Fire Red Jordan 4. We have the 1989 original beautiful release here, and we have our 2020 retro. So first I'm going to start talking about material wise. Durabuck has not been duplicated, as it was back in the day. Let's get some close shots. It's got, definitely some different character to it. The texture you can see on the toe box. So smooth, lighter, synthetic material. And then the 2020 retro used leather. It's a little firmer. I was expecting something like the Fire Reds, the Fire Red 4 release, but this one's a little stiffer, I'd say. I think it's similar to what reminds me of the 2016 retro. But this shoe is just very, very special to me. The first Jordans I ever really wanted when I was a kid was the black cements, and I didn't get them. My parents, it was too much money. Not till '91, the black infrareds, I literally had to cry to get my pair. So I did get them. I had a pair of, I think the brand was called Hoops or something, that were knockoffs of the Jordan 4 in black cement. But I remember it was kind of like a weird tongue on it. They made a bunch of different renditions. Different companies tried capitalizing off Nike, but my parents were definitely not dishing out 120 bucks in 1989 for a pair. So got Bulls hats, Jordan hats, shirts, all that collectible stuff, but the shoes weren't even in the question. So to have these here now is really special. It's always been like one of my favorite top 3 silhouettes, as I say, the 1, 4, and 6. And yeah, that's kind of my backstory with the Jordan 4 and what it really means to me. So we talked about the Durabuck and the leather used here. So we'll just kind of dive into a comparison with the shape. So as you see here from a front end view, the netting on the original comes down a lot lower. I was kind of surprised that they cut it like so high up here, because even like the 2012 retros and other retros in the past, it has come down closer, a little better shape like the original. So that was kind of strange. I think the netting is actually done really good on the side panels. In previous years, we've seen it where it's just kind of more vertical, and here we see it more on a bias, which is nice to see. We look at the heel tabs next. I'm always very careful with my originals, try to keep them nice. So this is a special occasion to pull them out for this long and handling them nervously. So you see the alignment is actually better finally on the retro, which is great to see. Just wider, just a little bigger of a heel tab on the original, kind of places it bigger. This is cut a little higher where the leather comes together. At least they centered it though, because like I was saying, the black cements last year, like this E is way far to the left side of the R. This one kind of hooks into it more, but it was even more lopsided. I've seen some tabs done better than others, but they did do a better job. So if we turn them sideways, we can see that the height on the original, for the record too, these are both size 11. So it makes for a great comparison. Close size, and these are exact. So the OG is actually just a little taller. The original, it's always identifiable because you have this space. There's more space between the strap. This stitched all the way through to the back. They cut it here. Let me get the OG out of the way here, so you can see. Right, back it up just a little, so then we can see, like even to here. The shape's just very, very, very similar but different. Space here. It looks pretty close to the same. They were messing this up for a while, but it's looking much better. as far as the lines. Toe box is another question, another story. It just will never, seems to never get it right. So let's switch the OG here, and we'll peep out the toe box really quick. These. All right, so get down low, you can really see the aerodynamics. So you got the height of, let me get back a little bit more. So you got the height here, you got the slope. And here you got, it's not as high, it's close to it. I think the pants are kind of lifting it up a little bit too, but they're definitely shorter. Just doesn't have the aerodynamics. Even the netting coming down, it just kind of gives it a different, dynamic. Definitely a different look. All right, we'll move on to the tongues. Actually, this one might be better, a little more accessible. Look at the tongue here we have on the OG. You can see that under stitching. It's not as thick. The retro they just made, the flight is a little finer. Kind of see a textured dotted Jumpman, you could say almost. And on the retro, it's nice. It's padded a little more. The Jumpman, it's pretty solid, and the flight just a little more bold. They rolled the material back again, which is cool to see. Previous retros we've seen where it's stitched up and over. So like the original here, you could see it's kind of rolled back. And we'll take a next look at the air bubbles. Let's go with this guy here. We kind of do side to side. So compared to the original air unit, it's very close. The shape and size is pretty much right on the money. Love that antique yellowing on the original release itself. So yeah, there's a lot of similarities, some major differences at the same time. Next we're going to look at outsoles. So they're very similar, at a quick glance, but there's some differences. The shade of red on the OG, it might have darkened a little bit over time just from age, but this is a little lighter, a little more vibrant, I'd say. The OG is a little more of a deep red. And when you look onto the outsole itself, it's aged. The white has aged a little bit. It's a little off-white. Hate to use that word, but it's true. So it's not as bright white as the 2020 retro. And another thing you see here is the stars. They're not as pronounced. They made them a little smoother, a little flatter. Now on the 2020 retro and many retro 4s of recent time, I'd say for about 10 plus years, roughly, they're more pronounced. I'm fine with that. I think it's cool. It's like, the traction will hold up a little bit. So they kind of refined it, kind of sharpened it up. So both dead stock, 2020 and the 1989 OG, gives you kind of an overlook of the midsole through the outsole, shades of red. The shades of gray is a little darker, I'd say. Might be just a little darker on the 2020. Not by much, but maybe we do actually switch these, go toe to toe. It's just a little different shade. I'm going to look at the hang tag next. So the earlier 80s basketball running shoes, well, basketball for sure, they had these kind of flimsy plastic hang tags, and they brought them back on here. The original Jordan 4, though, they had these guys. The nice bubble hang tag that they actually brought back on the Air Max 90s this year, which I thought was really cool. I would have loved to have seen this. It just looks so much better. for $200, I think, you know, that's not too much to ask for. Let's get a little bubble hang tag. So maybe next time we'll see that. But yeah, it's got the metal chain. Nice little detail. All right, next we're going to talk about the heel tab a little bit more, and the tongues, and as well as the insole. So we'll start with the insole, and if you look down in, you can see that the 2020 Retro has the traditional black on red Nike Air. It's cool. It's got the registered marks on there. The Fire Red 5s that came out earlier this year, this had Nike Air, so it's good that they brought those more true to the original. The font is a little larger than, say, the OG. Let me see if I can grab one here, and you can see on the original, it's a little smaller. Same thing with the Fire Red 5s that came out this year. The font on the inside, the stamps is bigger. So they're just doing, you know, bigger stamps. They look good. Looks nice. Just a little larger than the original. You can see here. There it is. The tongue on the inside, the Air Jordan, pretty much very, very similar. When you look at the 2020, I mean, if you're really nitpicking, the font might be just a little thinner. I think it's just a little less bold than it is on the OG. It appears to be just a little more bold. There's that again on the original release. I did say we're going to talk about the heel tabs a little more, so let's get kind of a straight shot here on the table. Slide these over. You can see on the tab on the OG, it comes up a little bit. On the 2020, a lot of the Jordan 4 retros, they keep making them really tall. And some people, saying that's digging in the back of their ankle. I have seen some pairs that come just a tad higher on the OGs. Even Jordans I've seen on his PEs. These are really level, pretty close to being level with the collar there. But yeah, this is just something that they just keep making a little too long. They still look good, but it just gives it that more sleek, everything kind of flowing with the lines of the shoe once you have what you see here. Just gives the shape, that much better. Boxes next. So it's always nice to have the original box with a vintage pair of shoes, like especially Air Jordans. As you see, they're both size 11, the OG and the Retro. The retail price of $110. It's still these shoes, made in Taiwan, and the new Jordan Retro is made in Vietnam, not China. So taking some business out of China, Jordan brand. So here's the other side of the box. It's always stamped on both sides on these earlier models, which is cool to see. And then we'll go to the inside. It's simple. It's not really super thick cardboard, but it's definitely better than some other Nike boxes. And it has the plastic lining on the inside. They have been using the plastic quite a bit on past Retro 4s, but on these, they actually put like cement paper, which is nice. I really like the box on the Retro 2. It's got more, it's definitely more matte. It's thicker cardboard. The Nike, it's not as deep red. I think it almost kind of matches up better. When you look at the Retro 5 that came out this year, the Nike's little less deep red, a little more vibrant like the original. This is a little darker, but it looks really good. I just like to see the Nike on the boxes. So that was kind of cool. But again, yeah, I like the matte finish. It's got a nice, the boxes feel different than other retro boxes that I've noticed in recent time. Let's see if we can get a look at the tongue tag real quick on the OG here. I believe this one would be the easiest to access. It's always good to show this stuff off too. 6'8", size 11. See if you can get in there. I don't want to press on the tongue too hard because that vintage Durbuck is not forgiving. But yeah, that's where the tongue tag is at. You can kind of see it a little bit there. Just kind of wrap things up here, and today I also brought out the original release Flight clothing that came out. It's got the gray tag here, the Flight sweatshirt, and also the Nike Flight t-shirt with the Jumpman on it, size large. And I really like these pants as well. They're the Flight pants that have Nike on the side here, and the tag has the Jordan Flight on it. Old school stitching right there. So that's it for the comparison today. Hope you all enjoyed it. It's fun looking at this signature model. Please subscribe and follow me on Instagram. And you guys have a good one.